Welcome everyone. This is Nichel Anderson. I'm your host for my podcast show, Nichel Anderson Short Stories and Beyond. Thank you so much for tuning in for this extra bonus during my summer break. And I just wanted to kind of hone on, I'm going to make this quick, but I wanted to hone on where is the best place to listen to my podcast. And this is coming about because for a while I've been thinking of actually making an announcement of what I've been looking at. I still haven't officially decided, but I'm leaning more that way, is to move my podcast to a different distribution platform. It's been like 3 years since I've been with Spreaker, and it has its ups and downs. And I wanted to just kind of provide a list of places where you can get my full podcast, in a sense where because I do a lot of work to produce the show, as well as providing the details and description and timestamps that I recently started doing. Since I was planning for the stage play, the theatrical release for MOLIAE, and that didn't happen, what have you. So that kind of took a lot of my time that I didn't get a chance to do season 2 and season 1, going back doing those timestamps. But I just recently, a couple of days ago, I was just kind of doing some research and looking at where my podcast distributed and how people are seeing it. And I noticed on Spreaker, if you log on to either their website on a computer or if you do their app, you have to sign in. And even if you sign in, I'm not seeing it. So that really frustrated me a couple of days ago, which I already been kind of thinking that because I have 2 podcast shows, is just to merge it from one distribution platform and call it a day. But I'm really looking for a particular platform where it's going to be easy to do, but it's going to give you my stats, and it's going to provide data, the description that I take time to write out. I take timestamps, depending on how the length of your show can be it's not quick and fast, unless you kind of trying to do side notes and multitasking and all of that. But you're trying to produce more than one show, or your schedule, what have you. All that takes time. I was just really upset because I don't want people to just listen to my show. I want them to read about it as well. And it's not really easy. So that's why I'm thinking of changing my platform. Haven't made that decision yet because I have dates coming up and everything, and I want to make sure it's a smooth process. My goal is if I want to make that move, is to do it during my summer break before I return back in the fall, but I'm not really sure. So don't be surprised if I just announce it that, hey, I'm actually now being, my main distribution is on a different platform. You still should be able to download and get my show, because my feed is connected and published in many different places, so you should be able to still get that. But I just will kind of know when I've been promoting and telling everybody to go to Spreaker and what have you, I won't, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. My other show, which is called Surviving Your Journey to a Success, that particular show is on Podbean. I'm thinking about moving that too. For some reason, when it comes to submitting my show on social media, it's a hit and miss. And I constantly have to redo or what have you. The time, that was the issue last year. It would not get released at a certain time, which was 10 a.m. for me for both my shows. So it was just a mess last year. And so I'm thinking of, been with them 3 years too, I'm thinking of just merging both of my shows and going someplace else. Because one thing I don't like is a half type presentation of my show, and everybody's not getting all of the information, and they should be able to get that if I'm pointing them to that distribution platform where I release my shows. So Podbean and Spreaker, they kind of on the shelf now, and I'm looking I don't know if this is gonna be, so be prepared for that. But yeah, I was really bummed about that. I'm thinking they don't even have timestamps. I mean, it wasn't showing. You couldn't even see. You just get the Spreaker on my the show here. You only got just a few. You just got the audio. That's it. And even if you log on, you still don't get that description. So here are the places where you can actually go to get my show. All right, Nichel Anderson Short Stories and Beyond. Number 1 is iHeart Radio. I went there, and I'm just so happy and pleased that I got approved to be on iHeart Radio, and it's very detailed. I'm on the website, what have you, and I'm sure that the app is just the same. It should be, and it's got all that I typed in the description, which that's key. The other way that you can get the description, if you are part of, you have access, of course everybody should have access to YouTube, hopefully. It does automatically post from Spreaker to YouTube. And in the description, it will have what I wrote in there during the editing process. And in YouTube, it's another way too. But most people don't really, they on their phone. They're not really going to always be on YouTube if they're listening through their chosen podcast platform, right? And at any rate, that's another place. But yeah, iHeartRadio is coming in number 1 as one of the best places to listen to my podcast and to get timestamps, which, by the way, again, I just started doing that in the last season I just finished, 2019 to 2020. Now, the last 2 podcasts, that was like towards the end of May, going with all that was going on. So you'll probably see that later, that I go back and add that if I didn't already. While I'm here, let me just check and see if that's actually showing up. And I just need to go and update that. And it's kind of loading here. But yeah, I was really impressed. Yes, it's there. Thank you. I know I timestamps, and that's what I started doing. Where if you go straight to Spreaker, and I'm going to click right here on it. You do not see that. Okay, it just asks you want to play this, we'll play it. Download the app. The app wouldn't do it. I'm just like, sometimes they don't have time. They want to get right to the story. Maybe they want to replay it, or maybe they want, this is the part I really want to jump to, and they don't have that option. So, or even the information that I'm promoting, other things going on, you're not getting on Spreaker. So that's why I'm just kind of upset about that. Number 1 would be iHeartRadio if you don't really use that. Another thing too about that, right quick, I noticed on my stats that I see a lot of, not like a lot, but I do see between iHeartRadio and this other one I'm going to mention, which is Spotify, comes up at the top. So I'm grateful that some people are figuring out, like, I can't do nothing with Spreaker. I'm finna go on over here and download her podcast, in which way you get in the description all the information that's about the show and about other things that I'm doing, So number 2 would be Spotify. They basically iHeartRadio and Spotify. I went there, I'm on there right now, and bam, they give you everything that I took the time. It takes time. You have to edit it as best as you can and then try to make the best of it. So anyway, Spotify is very good as well. So the third one is Apple Podcasts. They go in detail and show everything that I needed to share for the audience that's listening. Number 4, like I said, Spreaker. If you on Twitter, and when it automatically loads, the player is good on Twitter. All right. On Facebook, not so good to me. It's just kind of like, there it is, do the best you can, then you go to the website, there's nothing there in the app. So Twitter to me is number 1, the best for Spreaker, and that's right now is my main distribution platform that I'm releasing my short stories and beyond podcast. Twitter would be in the sense of listening to my podcast. If you subscribe and follow me, it automatically sends a post to my Twitter account, and that's the place where it's best to, if you on Twitter or you on your what have you, you can listen to the podcast and see the other episodes. Another thing too, I want to say, my episodes are chronically in order. Okay, they're organized. I went to the app on Spreaker, and it's just like you type in my name, it comes up. But it comes up with all mix of episodes. Do you know I could not find my 2019 and 2020 season? I just finished it. This is the 3rd season. All I got was the previous season, season 2 and season 1. I could not find in the search. So it's like the app is very hard to figure out. You click on the page, it shows but it's not really, it's just hard to get the information. First reactions is the same thing. Maybe that's why some people are like, I'm just tired. I just read it if she sent out one or what have you. You don't get that with iHeart. You don't get that with Spotify and Apple Podcasts. They don't do all that confusion. You go to someone's podcast, bam, you got the description of the show, you got the dates, you got in Chronical Order. And I took so many hours and time when I started in 2017, because 2017 to 2018 is season 1. 2018 to 2019 is my season 2. And 2019 to 2020 is season 3, which I just completed on May the 25th, right? 2020. And I'm on summer break from June to the end of August. And I start back my next season in season 4 from September to May of the next year. And that'll be 2021. And just to put that out there, my season starts now, where the date for the season 4 is September the 14th. It don't always start on the same date each September. I kind of flip it around or, rearrange the date, but it definitely starts in the month of September, and that's the date, September the 14th. Always on Mondays at 10 a.m. All right. Now, my other show, I had to change that. upset because they just couldn't get the time right. But nonetheless, I was just so upset about that. And then I want to talk about the timelines. So the timelines of my podcast show is 2. So the podcast show started where that image just came for me to write on episode 1 before the time of Princess Aamina is before the book. My book is Mitsrayim, a memoir. And it's during the time of Princess Aamina, where she's older, not that older, but like turning 18 or 19, and she's promised to marry King Dama. And if you're on TikTok or what have you, or you're on Facebook or what have Twitter, then King Dama, he comes into the play, which that's a theatrical expansion of my story from my book, Mitsrayim, a memoir. And so you have those 2 timelines, which I'm going to recap. So the first timelines when all of this started that brought MOLIAE is my book, Mitsrayim, a memoir. And that timeline is with Princess Aamina about to turn the age of 19, and she's supposed to marry King Dama, but his brother is there, King Daniel, so all that's going on. So that's that timeline where Princess Aamina is on the scene, and it's the time that she's supposed to marry King Dama. But other things are going on. There's a different Orion on the scene. His name is Kishi. He's one of the head leaders, where the podcast came about years later. Fast forward, because I wrote that book like in 1995, right? And progress. Did a stage play, Fast forward, 2017, I was called in a sense to do the podcast, but it came through as only Princess Hannah at the time, Aamina, older sister, and Queen Hagar, especially Queen Hagar came full force. So that's episode 1, and that was in 2017 when I kicked off this show. And so that's the second timeline where I'm calling it before the time of Princess Aamina. So we're still in that warp of time. So those are the 2 timelines. And the stage play, which I had plans to come back from the 3rd time to do the stage play. We had to change the date because what was going on a couple months ago. And now it's February 2021, next year. So the stage play always was from the book perspective of the timeline. And so I took Mitsrayim, a memoir, that title of the book, condensed it to a play, and I came up with moments of love in ancient Egypt. During that process, I shortened that title to MOLIAE, MOLIAE. And that's what we're at, prepping for, extending that out to the future date, which would be in February next year. Okay, 2021, on the 27th to the 28th. But nonetheless, back to this. So yeah, and if you want to find my show notes, what's going on, what's coming next, the best place is MOLIAE.com, MOLIAE.com. That's the place to find the future shows that's going to be rolling out, the show titles, my show notes, the character breakdowns. That's where you really go to get that info. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, but I just wanted to kind of put it out there. Those are the main 3. And of course, Spreaker. You can still use Spreaker if you think you're fine, you're fine with everything, how it flows. Like I said, the Twitter app is really good. That's really what I could say. But yeah, I'm really looking in the future real soon is moving to both my shows to one place, and to make that move soon. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for taking the time to tuning in. Thank you for supporting my podcast. Please follow and like here on where I'm at right now. It's good to see that. And like I said, you can also check out the episodes that automatically post as well on YouTube. That's youtube.com/MOLIAE. Facebook. Please follow us on Facebook, my MOLIAE page, facebook.com/MOLIAE, and we're on Twitter as well, which is twitter.com/MOLIAE, right? Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and I hope everybody have a great summer. I'm looking forward to returning back for my season 4, and I hope you are too, on September the 14th, 2020. I'm enjoying my summer. I hope you are too. Be safe, be prayerful, be positive, and know that every journey is the journey that we all learn to keep going. All right, Arce.